Hey everybody, how is it going today? Welcome back to the channel. Well, in this video, I want to go over the Bitcoin miners because crypto is up again and the miners are going nuts. So we're going to get into their charts and see what could be coming next. All right, well, I'm going to start this one off with the cryptocurrencies because they are hot again, and you might as well lay down that foundation if I'm going to get into those Bitcoin mining stocks because pretty much all they're moving is predicated on the price action of Bitcoin, at least for the most part anyway. But right here, I have the big dog himself. I have the daily chart of Bitcoin. And in my last video, when I talked about the Bitcoin miners and I talked about the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin was finding support at this support area right here. You know, the old highs that it made back in May and June. And then it printed this nice, beautiful green candle. And I talked about how I thought we're probably going to get some follow through to the upside, being that it held support and then printed that nice green candle. Well, since then, it has held the highs from that green candle and is now moving to the upside. So that we are getting some follow through to the upside. So it looks like the high from a few weeks ago, right around 53,000 or so, looks like it's a a slam dunk, a short putt, an extra point, whatever you want to call it. Looks like it's probably going to get there pretty easily. And then, of course, the next logical area is the old high right around 65,000. And the way that price action has turned around, I would guess we're probably going to make it there. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go straight there. It could be, a little jagged getting there. But it certainly looks like the way price action has turned that it's going to make it to 65 before it makes it down to this old support level right around 30. Now, you never know what is going to happen, especially with these cryptos, but judging by the price action, it looks really bullish. So that is good news for anybody holding Bitcoin and, of course, anybody holding those Bitcoin mining stocks. I knew I should have bought more these last few weeks, but man, I just got a little greedy. I thought Bitcoin was going to pull down a little further, so I thought the miners were also going to pull down a little further. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But let's take a look at Ethereum next. And Ethereum looks pretty similar to Bitcoin. It found support at the old high from May and June, right around 2,800 or 2,900 or so. Printed that nice green candle and has been holding that upper range ever since, and looks like it is ready to blast higher. So the next logical area, of course, is that high from a few weeks ago, right around 4,000, and I would say it's probably going to get there. And then, of course, you got the all-time high right after that, just under 4,400. So things are looking really bullish for Ethereum as well. And, before I get off these, let me just take a look at the crazy one. Let's take a look at Shiba. And I got into Shiba a couple of weeks ago because someone from my Patreon told me about it. So I got to give Studio a shout out from the Patreon. Got to give credit where credit is due because I would not have even heard of this thing unless he had mentioned it in the Patreon. He said he was going to throw some money at it, so I figured I would throw some money at it as well. And you are making a very well thought out, logical, scientific investment decision when you say you're going to throw some money at it. But God help us all, that's the investing environment we're in right now. That is the stuff that is working. I mean, look at this chart. This thing is just going parabolic. And I think if this thing has a pullback, I'm probably going to add a little bit more. I haven't even really logged in to my Webull. I don't even want to know how much I'm up. I'm just going to hold this one for a little while. But like I said, God help us all. This is the stuff that is working in this investing environment. I mean, Warren Buffett is probably rolling over in his grave and he's not even friggin' dead yet. That's how ridiculous these things are looking. But let's get into the stock market. All right, well, let's get into the market averages first. And I'm going to start off with the QQQs. Of course, that is the ETF for the NASDAQ. And by the way, as long as the market continues to be in a downtrend, I'm going to try to fit these, market averages into my videos just so we can get a better idea of when the market could be bottoming. It's pretty important to take a look at every single day's price action on one of these deep pullbacks so we can get an idea. if the market is going to be finding a bottom or not. But looking at today's price action, we can see that we're having a pretty decent day to the upside. It did break above the high from yesterday, but it is falling short of the 8-period exponential moving average, and the volume today is rather low. So I don't know about you guys, but I was scouring the market for buying opportunities, some potential deals, and I'm really seeing nothing out there. There's nothing that's twisting my arm. And I bet a lot of it is just because there just isn't a lot of great price action out there. So as far as I'm concerned, I need some more cards to come out of the deck before I know which way this market is going to be going, because this bounce has been pretty weak. Some of the other averages are a little bit stronger, and I'll get into that. But as far as the NASDAQ goes, hopefully this is the bottom, but I think today or tomorrow's open is going to be very telling to where the rest of the week goes. If we get a gap up tomorrow and we get above this 8-period exponential moving average and hold it, I think we're probably going to rally into the end of the week. If we get a sell-off today and then some more downward price action tomorrow, I think we're probably going to be taking out this low from yesterday, and that is not a good sign at all. But let's go to the 15-minute chart on the Qs. And as we can see, the NASDAQ is finding some resistance at this trend line right here. So this is why the NASDAQ is stalling out here. And we really need the Qs to get above this trend line if we're going to continue this rally. If I had to guess, I think we're probably going to be rolling over, but hopefully we get a gap up tomorrow and we get a continued rally into the rest of the week. But that's the way the Qs are looking. Let's go over and take a look at the spider next. If we look at the S&P 500, zoom in a little bit, we can see the S&P 500 is wrestling with that 8-period exponential moving average today. Got a little bit above it, but pulled back, but you can see it has been finding resistance at it for the last week or so. So it's very important that the spider get above that 8-period exponential moving average. Again, if we get a gap up tomorrow, I think that is very good news for the spider and the overall market. I think we could rally up to that 50-period simple moving average right up around 443 if that does happen. If we get a gap down tomorrow, even a small gap down, I think there's a strong possibility we're probably going to be taking out the lows from yesterday as well on the spider. So those are the areas on the spider. Let's take a look at the diamonds, which of course is the Dow. We can see the Dow is the strongest of the three. The Dow found support at that area that I had drawn on the chart, and it's blasting above that 8-period exponential moving average. So hopefully the Dow can pull the other ones up, but definitely the Dow is the strongest of those three. And if we look at the IWM is the Russell 2000. We can see this one is just continuing to move sideways. So this one is actually stronger than the other three, and that's a good news. That's a piece of good news. And if we can get a rally from those other three, I think the IWM has a strong possibility of potentially breaking out. But if you look at this chart right here, this is why the market has been so tough to trade ever since February. We got a little bit of a rolling correction, and there has just been chop city going on ever since February, and that's the absolute worst market to trade. I would take a down market over this any day of the week, because at least you get some pretty decent bounces in a down market. It seems like when a market's been like this, all you do is get false breakout after false breakout, and you just get death by 1,000 cuts. So hopefully we get a breakout on the IWM before too long, and we can get back into a market environment where, a lot of trades are working again. All right, so let's get into my favorite stock at the moment, and that is CleanSpark. And full disclosure, I do own some shares in CleanSpark, so I am a little bit biased. But if you do want to know what stocks we are buying and selling in real time, I do have a Patreon. That link is down there in the description, and that is a whopping $10 a month to be a part of that. But please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All of this is just my opinion. Please make all of your own trading decisions. But getting back to this CleanSpark chart, we can definitely see that it is finally starting to bottom. If I zoom in a little bit, we are above all of those moving averages except the 200-period simple moving averages, which is way up here. But if we back it out just a little bit, we can see the last few times that CleanSpark has gotten above this blue line, this 50-period simple moving average during this long pullback, it has had a hard time. So this is going to be a very, this is going to tell the tale on CleanSpark, certainly in the short term. because last few times we have gotten above it not long after we fell right back below it. So as of today, we are right back above that 50-period simple moving average, and of course all of the other ones. So if we can hold on to this for a couple of days, if we get a little bit of a consolidation like this above it and then print a nice green candle breaking above this consolidation, I think we're going to be home free on CleanSpark. And it is a long time coming because this thing has been bottoming for months and months. And if Bitcoin is starting to take back off again, this might be the perfect time to be getting into CleanSpark. I probably should be adding some shares today. I'm going to kind of sit tight for a little bit and see how this price action plays out over the next several days, but definitely CleanSpark is looking really good. But if we go to that 15-minute chart, in my old, or my last video that I did on CleanSpark, I was talking about this price area right around 12.15 or so. And we can see CleanSpark has broken above it, found a support at it, and now it is blasting off. So we could be in that acceleration part of this short-term move. And if that does happen, if we can get another decent sized move up, I think we have a very good chance of holding above that 50-period simple moving average on the daily chart. And that is going to be a great technical sign. But let's get into a couple more of the Bitcoin miners before I, end this video. And in my last video, I was talking about Bitfarms was probably going to be able to run up to that 50-period simple moving average, and that coincided with this resistance area right here. And we can see Bitfarms is finding resistance right at that line. So the next day or so is going to be a telling sign for Bitfarms as well. But I think as long as Bitcoin can remain strong, I think these things are probably going to be breaking above short-term resistance areas. Next one I want to talk about is HUT. HUT just making a beautiful break through that trend line that I had drawn on my chart from the last video. And this thing is probably the strongest of the Bitcoin miners that I am following. So HUT looking super good. Got a lot of good volume coming in to HUT, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we are breaking through this old high right around $11 before too long. And if we go to that 15-minute chart, you can see this break through this trend line right here has just been a beautiful thing, and right now it is making a bullish triangle formation, and it looks like it's probably going to be breaking to the upside again. So definitely very strong chart for HUT 8 mining on the 15-minute chart as well. Next one I want to look at is BTBT. You can see BTBT having a very strong day, up 33%. Man, this thing has really taken off. Got some great volume pouring in. It looks like this pullback might finally be done. We do have these moving averages to get through, but with the strength that's coming into BTBT and the volume behind it, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this thing has a date with the 200-period simple moving average before too long, and that's at 1275-ish. So that's a pretty nice move from here, even though today is already up 33%. Next one is Mara. Take a look at Mara. Very strong for Mara as well, blasting through those moving averages. So definitely looks like Mara is bottoming. And last one is RIOT Blockchain. RIOT Blockchain is probably the weakest of the bunch for some reason, but if we take a look at the last several days, it's definitely looked like it is consolidating. So this one might end up blasting off as well, following the others. So if you missed the move on the other ones, definitely keep an eye on RIOT, because RIOT could be the one to follow them. And if we go to that 15-minute chart, we can definitely see it is trying to carve out this bottom, and this is the area of importance right here. I think if RIOT can blast through 2660 tomorrow, I'm probably going to put a buy stop in there and try to capture that momentum move to the upside, because it definitely looks like if it breaks through there, we could have found a bottom in RIOT and could be starting that next move up. All right, everybody, that's all I have for this one. But if you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, or if you wanted me to take a look at any other stocks, please leave them down there in the comments section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.